My name's Dave Miller. I am the Director of Ethical Engagement for Allo Communications. We are an all-fiber telecommunications company. That means that when we go into a community to serve them with fiber, we make sure that everybody has the opportunity to connect to fiber. Residents, businesses, nonprofits, government entities, schools, everybody. And that's a little unique. That's a little different model than most because we take what's called a ubiquitous approach where we build out everything. Where others sort of will come in and, the term is cherry pick off businesses or high net worth areas of a neighborhood because, the return of investment is a lot faster and a lot more, comes more quickly. But we don't want to forget others in the community, especially since the pandemic. And I'll just mention that briefly. The pandemic, if there was one good thing that came out of it, it was the awareness, greater awareness created for the need of people to have reliable broadband connectivity, students learning from home, people learning, working from home, recognizing that I don't need to just have good download speeds. I need to have good, reliable upload speeds, and that's what fiber does. So a part of my role as Director of Ethical Engagement is we're very intentional at Allo about living out our 4 core values. Our whole culture is centered around building on that foundation of living the core values. The 4 core values are to be honest, to be exceptional, to be local, and to be hassle-free. And the honest one, to be honest simply means, do what you say you're going to do, be upfront, be transparent, be real. And the way we do that is how we price our products. We don't do contracts. We don't do lowball teaser rates just to lure people in. We also don't charge for installation. So if somebody goes to our website and goes to their community, we serve about 30 communities now, they can see what the pricing is, and when they get their bill, that is what the pricing is going to be. We include all taxes, all fees, no surprises. Our exceptional core value is where we strive to go above and beyond, exceed expectations of our customers, whether it's internal customers, our teammates, associates, external customers, whether it's our subscribers, vendors. So really trying to go the extra mile. Our third core value, to be local, what does that mean? That means in every community that we serve, we become part of the community. We develop long-term relationships. We put roots down. We have an actual brick and mortar building, storefront. We become part of the community. And part of that is working with nonprofits and low-income families. The last core value, quickly, is to be hassle-free. And that is simply the golden rule. To be hassle-free means treat others the way you want to be treated. Make it easy to do business with Allo. So here's an ethical dilemma that I went to our vice president and our president and CEO, and I said, I have some examples. I've been with Allo a little over 4 years, but the company started in 2003. I said, give me an example, and I talked to each one of them separately. I said, give me an example of an ethical dilemma that Allo encountered. And they each responded with the exact same incident. So here it is. Back in 2009, Allo had a contract, still does, but had a contract with a government entity where apparently it had gotten to the point where we were charging for some additional services. There's like a surcharge in there. And I think it was just, on our part, it was just overlooked. But once it was realized, and I think the client brought it to our attention, and then we quickly realized, oh my gosh, yeah, that hasn't been accurate. And this had been going on for some time. I mean, probably, I think a couple years before it was realized, the mistake realized. So went back and we read the contract. Well, the contract said essentially that any issues that arise like this can only be contested back to the last 90 days. So now you're faced with, you've got the legal piece of it, which says, well, the contract says we only have to refund back 90 days, even though the mistake was ours. The ethical piece is, but is that really the right thing to do? And I think that's one of the questions around ethics. Even though something is legal to do, is it ethical to do? Is it really right for the customer? Is it right for the other person? Is it right for humanity, kind of thing? And I am very, very pleased, and this is one of the reasons that I joined Allo, that both our president and vice president said the response was without question, we have to go back to day one and correct this and refund back to our subscriber, back to our customer, what is due them. And I said, just out of curiosity, do you remember what that amount was? So our VP went and looked, and she told me it was $65,000. So it was not a small chunk of change. Now again, legally, Allo could have said, well, we only have to, correct this and refund for the last 90 days, which, how would the customer have felt about that? Well, probably not very, very happy. But when you look long term at relationships and the fact that you have brand recognition, what's that going to do to your brand? Because people talk. And so it just really pleased me to know that leadership is committed to doing the right thing. And I think that's a really good example of what we're talking about with ethics in business. The way I think of it is it's the legal thing, and the example I gave would be more of transactional. And to me, that's not really relationship. That's just kind of doing business. That's transactional. The ethical piece, though, by going beyond and doing what is right, that's relational. And that, to me, is long term. I mean, transactions are going to happen left and right. And, we do this often where we buy products. Oftentimes we look for the most economical. But if you have a relationship, here I'll give you another example. So when it comes to providing our services, Allo is not always the least expensive. I mean, we price fairly and we're very competitive, but we're not always the least expensive. And we do have some people that say, well, it's all about price for me. And that's fine, we get it. There's others, though, many, many others, who have the relationship with Allo. They know we're going to deliver on our core values, on our service. They see that value and they're willing to pay the little extra that's there because they recognize the value. So absolutely, I think that is investing in that relationship, because the other thing you're doing is you're building trust, right? I can count on this person, this company to do the right thing because trust is what's been established.